Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Recently, I made a video highlight of Ridwan's interview with Dr. Bart Ehrman, and Ridwan accused me of corrupting his video. Let's get right into it. Let's watch Ridwan's accusation against me.
I know many of you who listen to me think that Muslim apologists often lie to save their religion. Today, however, I want to present to you clear proof of edited footage by Muslim apologists from my interview with Bart Ehrman, which they edited, corrupted, in order to make it look like Bart Ehrman agreed with their views. The irony here is that Muslims accuse Christians and Jews of corrupting their scripture and corrupting the past in order to falsify their own beliefs, but here we have Muslim apologists openly corrupting, editing footage for their own narratives. Cutting this part out and only presenting the early part, in which he doesn't even fully answer my question, is nothing but sheer dishonesty, corruption. It's a lie. This Muslim apologist here clearly lies about me and about Bart Ehrman in order to validate their own Islamic positions, in order to make it look like Bart Ehrman agrees with the Islamic point of view, when he clearly doesn't. If it is not a lie, then what is it?
So here Ridwan is accusing me of cutting part of Bart Ehrman's answer in order to show that Bart Ehrman agrees with the Islamic belief about Jesus, when Bart Ehrman clearly doesn't agree with the Islamic belief of Jesus. So let's start responding to this accusation. First, what was the title of my video? The title of my video was Dr. Bart Ehrman Embarrasses Apostate Prophet. So the purpose of this video was not to show that Bart Ehrman agrees or disagrees with Islam. That's a completely different story. The purpose of the video was to show where Bart Ehrman's answers embarrassed Ridwan. And this is a video highlight. This is how highlights work. It's absolutely ridiculous to argue that in order for me to show the answers that Bart Ehrman gave, which embarrassed Ridwan, I must show everything else. And this is a common objection that I got from Ridwan fanboys in the past week. Why don't you show the full video? Why don't you show the full video? Why should I show the full video? I want to make highlights about Bart Ehrman answers which embarrassed Ridwan. Why should I show the full video? I will only show the answers which Bart Ehrman gave, which caused Ridwan embarrassment. Let me give you an example. If I want to make highlights of the goals that Manchester United scored against Liverpool, only Manchester United goals, would Liverpool fan come to me and say, this is corruption, where are the goals of Liverpool? Well, the title is Manchester United goals against Liverpool. Why should I show Liverpool goals? This is common sense. Now let's anticipate some of the comeback that we are going to get from Ridwan or his fanboys. How do we know that this was your purpose? The title is not enough. Okay, let's read the description of the video. In this video, Apostate Prophet was trying to get some answers from Dr. Bart Ehrman that appeals to his anti-Islam audience. Most of Bart Ehrman's answer shocked and embarrassed Apostate Prophet. So all the answers that Bart Ehrman gave in this video are the ones which I believe embarrassed Ridwan. But maybe I added the description later, right? Even though it doesn't appear like it was edited or updated. But no problem, let's give them that. Let's say that maybe I updated the description after Ridwan exposed me, or after Ridwan said that he was going to expose me. Let's deal with that. Here is the community post Ridwan made when he noticed my video. It was on the 1st of December. He said, wow, I just noticed that Muslim apologists have deliberately edited and corrupted footage of my interview with Bart Ehrman to make it look like he agreed with them on the idea that early Christians were Muslims. This is a new law. I will demonstrate it in a video. So at this point, maybe I realized that Ridwan exposed me, therefore I updated the description. Let's go and see my comments to Ridwan fanboys even before this community post of Ridwan. This is a reply that I kept copying and pasting to every Ridvan fanboy who was telling me that this is not the full video. Here's my response. The purpose of this video is to show the parts where Ridvan was expecting certain answers from Dr. Bart Ehrman and then got embarrassed. We know that Dr. Ehrman doesn't agree with many Islamic views. That is not news. Hope that makes it clear. Now let's see how many times. By the way, this is 9 days ago. This is before Ridvan made his community post. Let's see how many times I repeated this same answer to Ridvan fanboys. All of them, by the way, were before Ridvan made his community post. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and many more than this. So I made it clear right from the beginning, from the title, from the description, from my responses to Ridvan fanboys, that this video is not about showing Bart Ehrman's agreement or disagreement with Islam. This video is about showing the answers that Bart Ehrman gave, which embarrassed Ridvan. So that's done, Ridvan. I didn't make a video showing Bart Ehrman's agreement with Islam. This is called a straw man, and it got easily refuted. Now someone might come to me and say, I don't believe that any of the answers that you showed in your video embarrassed Ridvan. Okay, that's fine. You can argue that, and I can respond to you and we can talk about it, but don't claim that I corrupted the video. I challenge Ridvan or his fanboys to prove that any of the answers that I showed in my video did not cause him embarrassment. Let's deal with the example that Ridvan showed in his video. He showed only one example. So that's the only one we can talk about now. If he wants to talk about other answers, I'm willing to respond to him. But now he just gave one example. Let's deal with that example.
That is just horrible. It's damning. I asked Bart Ehrman this question very deliberately because I know what he thinks. I know about his research. So in the actual footage, in the actual uncut, unedited interview, he clearly responds to me saying that the early Christians, the immediate followers of Jesus, began worshipping him.
They started worshiping him.
He says that while he was alive, they did not literally worship him.
They thought he was a great teacher who was more righteous than anyone else that God had made into a divine being.
And whether you agree with that or not is besides the point. He says after Jesus dies and is resurrected, they start deifying him and turning him into a god. And then, over the centuries, ideas develop on how he is divine, why he is divine, when he became divine, what his role in the divinity is, and so on. Which clearly means that the early Christians, his immediate followers, were not what Muslims would call Muslims. Cutting this part out and only presenting the early part, in which he doesn't even fully answer my question, is nothing but sheer dishonesty, corruption. It's a lie. This Muslim apologist here clearly lies about me and about Bart Ehrman in order to validate their own Islamic positions, in order to make it look like Bart Ehrman agrees with the Islamic point of view, when he clearly doesn't. If it is not a lie, then what is it?
So according to Ridvan, I cut the second part of Bart Ehrman's answer, which agree with Ridvan, that the early followers of Jesus were not Muslims, did not believe in one God, and they worshipped Jesus. This is completely irrelevant to the point of the video. My question is, did the answer Bart Ehrman gave caused embarrassment to Ridvan? That's the only question we need to ask. If it doesn't, then I made a mistake. If it did, then I was right to include that part and exclude the second part. So the question is, did it cause embarrassment? Hell yeah. Absolutely yes. And Ridvan now gave me a good chance to show his followers, his fanboys, how embarrassing that answer was for Ridvan. The answer was yes. Jesus and his followers believed in one God. Let's see how this answer embarrassed Ridvan.
There is this Islamic suggestion, the Islamic idea, that Jesus was a Muslim. Yes, I know it sounds very strange, very absurd, and some people might ask why I'm even talking about this, but people believe in very weird things. We can confidently say, no matter what you believe in, Jesus was definitely not a Muslim, and Jesus will definitely not come back as a Muslim. What I can simply not acknowledge is this ridiculously absurd, ridiculously stupid idea that this figure, Jesus Christ, was just some guy who was just telling those people in Israel, hey guys, worship one God. Hey guys, let's worship Allah. Hey guys, please stop believing in false things. Let's worship Allah. And therefore, Jesus was only a Muslim. And yeah, he was just a Muslim. That's it. That's all he was. That's just a ridiculously dumb claim. I'm sorry.
You know, it's on the basic level, the idea that the earliest followers of Jesus thought that he was a human, and that he worshipped only one God, and they also worshipped only one God. I would say that that's true.
Hey guys, let's worship Allah. Hey guys, please stop believing in false things. Let's worship Allah.
So Ridvan thinks that it's absurd that Jesus taught that, hey guys, let's worship one God. Hey guys, let's worship one God. And Bart Ehrman's answer was, yes, Jesus believed in one God. So, case closed, the answer Bart Ehrman gave caused a huge embarrassment for Ridvan because he has in his channel several videos denying that Jesus believed in one God and taught his followers to believe in one God. I think that answer is enough, but not yet. What about Ridvan claims that the second part of Bart Ehrman's answer means that the early followers of Jesus were not Muslims and did not believe in one God? That's also false, and I will go about it briefly. Inshallah, in a coming video, I will explain what happened in Ridvan's interview with Bart Ehrman in great details. And I will show that how most of Bart Ehrman's answer agree and are in line with the Islamic beliefs. But that's a topic for another video. Today, I'll just say this. Bart Ehrman said that the early followers of Jesus believed in one God. And after his death, after they believed that he was raised to heaven, they started worshipping him. And Ridvan is taking that to mean that every single follower of Jesus stopped believing in one God and started worshipping Jesus. And this is completely ridiculous, because not even Bart Ehrman can tell us how many of Jesus' followers started worshipping him. Did Bart Ehrman mean to say that some of his followers started believing in him or taking him as God or worshipping him? Well, that's what would make sense from a scholar. And it doesn't make sense that let's say there were 20 followers of Jesus. It doesn't make sense that some of them will claim that they saw Jesus and then will go and tell the others, and every one of the 20 people will agree that Jesus became God and start changing their theology. Let's read this quote from Bart Ehrman's book, How Jesus Became God. I do not think that Christian is an appropriate term for Jesus' followers before his death, but used in the way I've just described makes good sense for those who came to believe that he had been raised from the dead and thought of him as one who was specially chosen by God to bring about salvation. The first who came to this belief were his own remaining disciples, or at least some of them, and possibly others of his followers from Galilee, including Mary and some other women. As it turns out, it is extremely difficult to know what these people believed as soon as they accepted the idea that Jesus had been raised from the dead, in no small measure because we have no writings from them or writings of any kind, in fact, from the first 2 decades of the Christian movement. So here in this quote, Bart Ehrman makes it clear that it's very difficult to know what all Jesus' disciples, all of Jesus' followers, believed after they learned about his resurrection. So Ridvan's interpretation of Bart Ehrman's answer that it meant every single follower of Jesus started worshipping him is nonsensical, and it doesn't take from the embarrassment that was caused by the first part of Bart Ehrman's answer. Now, before ending, let's make the embarrassment complete. What does Bart Ehrman believe about the Ebionites, which is a Jewish Christian sect who didn't believe that Jesus was God? Let's watch this.
That's a huge exception. The Ebionites were Jewish Christians who understood themselves to be the true followers of Jesus, who had a Jewish understanding of the faith, and they claimed that their beliefs were supported principally by James, the brother of Jesus, and by his closest disciple, Peter, the leaders of the Jerusalem church. And there are lots of historians who think that, in fact, this claim is completely valid, that, in fact, the Jewish Christianity represented by the later Ebionites, in fact, is the earliest form of Christianity that we can attest. And so I don't think that it's quite accurate to say that everybody thought that Jesus was divine in the early church, just the opposite.
So the Ebionites who didn't believe that Jesus was God claimed that they followed the gospel of his early disciples, and Bart Ehrman is saying that some historians believe that this is a valid claim, and that the Ebionites were the earliest form of Christianity. I think that's more than enough. So Ridvan, there is no corruption in my video. It's a highlight of the answers that Bart Ehrman gave, which embarrassed you. And I showed that even the example you showed in your video is not corruption. That answer Bart Ehrman gave was embarrassing to you, because you claimed that it was absurd to believe that Jesus taught people to believe in one God. And also, the second part of Bart Ehrman's answer doesn't take from the embarrassment that was caused to you by the first part. Because Bart Ehrman or any other scholar cannot claim that every single disciple of Jesus believed in this way. And Bart Ehrman himself acknowledged that. Sorry for making a very long video, but I think it was necessary because a lot of Ridvan's fanboys were like, yeah, where is the video, where is the response? And now that I refuted Ridvan's accusations against me, we will go back to our event. Let's unite in fighting corruption. And I will leave you now with the campaign ad. Thank you so much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Corruption. 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 Corruption.